It's your boy Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a lockdown defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now check out our latest video. Leave a comment. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down. Let's take a ride out to the West Coast. Let's ride up to 405. Let's pull up on Chargers corner. So the Chargers this week are heading into a matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before we get there, it's hot off the heels of the Sunday night football game. Let's take a ride in a 4-5. And let's talk about the battle, quickly about the close battle that we had with the Chiefs this past Sunday. Where we are doing field goal away from beating the Chiefs, ironically. But that was, that was without our top running back and wide receiver. So let's break down what the pros and cons of that game were, and then we'll focus our attention on Tampa Bay, and they're coming into SoFi this week, and we'll get our keys to victory of that game and see if the Chargers can right the ship and get back on track. So going into this game, again, I had a lot of angst about our chances with Ladd being banged up, and he ultimately didn't play, and J.K. already been missing, the running game being different, things of that nature. So I had a lot of views on what they should do. They did a little bit of them, and I'm really proud of what we saw out of Quentin Johnson and Stone Smart, because I really had my angst and trepidation about Quentin Johnson, but he gave me some calm, and again, a lot of respect for him after he took that vicious hit in the first quarter of that game. He held on to the ball, caught it with his hands, took a big hit, and all the really catchable balls that he got thrown this past week he made. So I'll give him credit for that. Caught a touchdown as well, so give him kudos in that space. So he stepped up. Stone Smart is a pass-catching tight end. They finally let him catch the ball. Will Dissly went down with an injury, so they had to rely on Stone Smart. So he's the pass catcher of the group, but he's not a really good blocker, so you don't see him much. But with Hayden Hurst already being banged up, Will Dissly went out in the game, so Stone Smart was the next man up, and he made some good clutch catches in the second quarter, in the second half, I should say, which allowed for the offense to keep moving the ball. So shouts out to that. That was a really good pro. I like what the running game was doing in the second half. I think Greg Roman found some weaknesses in the Chiefs' run fits, and he was able to get the ball downhill, start running the ball better. He did run the ball more with Kamani Vidal, like I told him to in my weekly breakdown last week. I said Kamani got way more juice. He's more like J.K. than Gus is. So get Kamani running the ball, and every time he touched the ball, it was positive, right? So he did that, got it going in the second half. I did like the way the overall offense looked in the second half versus the first, because it was really anemic in the first half. Didn't like that, but they turned it around. And they got moving, got the ball moving. They ran good offense in the second half, so that was good. That was a good pro. Pass rush. Pass rush was relentless in getting after Mahomes all game. Now, they only recorded 3 sacks, but the pressures and the hits on the quarterback were immense. I haven't seen Patrick Mahomes get hit like that in a while. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but have you seen Patrick Mahomes get pressure like that outside of that Super Bowl that they lost to Tampa Bay?
True. I haven't seen him sustain that level of consistent pressure since then.
Okay.
Or since the Super Bowl.
And that goes back to the argument about the missing tackles, right? They left tackle, it's been a swinging door, and the right tackle isn't as great as it used to be, right? And Juwan Taylor, who's Mr. False Start, as everybody like to call him, right? So that was definitely a kudo, because I said the pass rush needs to be paramount. They were very disciplined in their rush things. They didn't let Mahomes get out of the pocket too much in extending plays, and they really got after him and got in his face a lot. Tackling, outside of maybe 1 or 2 missed tackles here and there on Pirine, I didn't like, but tackling was really good overall, and we didn't turn the ball over. So that was all really good and concise pros to what the Chargers did in this game. Now we got to talk about the negatives. The first half offense, which playing against the Chiefs, and I think Kurt, we and I both talked about this earlier, talking about the Chiefs, where you got to play sound football for 4 quarters. If I'm not mistaken, and we said that earlier, play sound football for 4 quarters. You can't have take a whole half off. They get up 13 points and have to play catch up. That's not how you beat good teams. So that part has to change with this team. I understand we're rebuilding, we're missing pieces and things of that nature, but the blueprint to beat this team is to run good offense for 4 quarters. You can't take 2 quarters off, expect to play from behind, and expect to be in it to win it in. So you have to play for good 4-quarter football. The defense was on the field too long in the first half. As a controversy, as an additive to that, the fact that we weren't running on the offense, we kept punting the ball to them. So the defense was on the field for too long in the first half. They got tired in the first half. They started to give up points. So, not running offense, not playing complementary football, where you're keeping their offense off the field and we're keeping our offense on, that allow for the defense to have to play longer snaps in the first half, which again, you wore way down, you get tired, you give up points. And lastly, I think that allowing Mahomes to get out and sustain plays in certain facets, there was always those key moments, i.e. that last third down play when he got to Kelsey's, it's still a game. You got to keep him in the pocket and make him throw from the pocket and not allow him to make that play. So that would have been a difference in the game, because they would have kicked the field goal, would have had time on the clock still, and we could have went down and maybe won the game ourselves. So, just keeping him from making those improvisational plays, it's got to be more of a focus. And not to say that anybody does it well, but that's something you got to clean up in order to be able to beat this team. So keeping him from being improvisational is another thing that you have to worry about with this team, to keep them from keeping the ball moving and keeping them from scoring points. So that was it. Again, I was very I guess you can say, level-headed when it came down to this game. I think we were in it. I think we had chances to win it, and we ran better offense or had more weapons on the offensive side, JK and Ladd. We could have been a different outcome. Could have had some scores in the first half. So again, that goes back to my point I made earlier in the pod. If we are full strength and we face them in the playoffs, it could be a different story. We'll have to go to Arrowhead again. We seem to play well at Arrowhead for some reason. And it'll be what it'll be. But I think that we're right there, and I think we are putting the Chiefs on notice that we are going to be a team that's going to be formidable as time goes on, with Harbaugh being there. So moving on to the game of the week in Week 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So here's the keys to victory for this game. I think we need to get back on track, and need to get back on track fast. I think that we are poised to make the playoffs, but we can't have any giveaways at this point in the season. So the Buccaneers, not the Buccaneers, but the Broncos are vying for our spot where they're at right now. That we're virtually tied, but we get a tiebreaker against them because we beat them early in the season. So we gotta stay where we're at and maybe move up in the rankings. So it's time to piece together some victories here. So to beat the Bucs, I think in this particular matchup on Sunday, I think first and foremost, you got to not let the game against the Chiefs be a hangover. We were right there. We're right on the cusp. Didn't get it done. I understand, but you gotta have a short memory with that, and don't let that game bleed over into the Buccaneers game and not focus on them as a team, for starters. And then secondly, be stout in the run game. I think that although Bucky Irvin is a little bit banged up, I think Rashad White and Sean Tucker are very capable. I think that if you would allow for Baker Mayfield to have a solid run game against us and allow him to run his play action and get the ball down the field to his receivers, that's going to be problematic. So I think we need to beast out against them and kind of stymie them early to make Baker a thrower in this game. And of course, it goes without saying, focus on Mike Evans. I think focusing on Mike Evans, make sure that he is corralled and have bodies around him. He's 6'5", so I mean, you got to do what you got to do. As far as keeping him from catching the ball, but I think that he should be a focal point and kind of keep bodies around him so he's not able to have a whole lot of one-on-ones in the game. So we can do that. That'll be great. Of course, keep that pass rush up, pressure Baker Mayfield. I think that he is a much, I guess you can say, maligned or a quarterback that struggles more so when you pressure him. So if you pressure him, get in his face, sack him a couple of times, he'll start to speed up. He'll start to do things off kilter, and he may throw you an interception or two. So when he's on schedule, he's good. But if you pressure him, his rating goes down. So I think if you pressure him and you pressure him a lot, like we did Mahomes, I think that'll bode well for their offense being stymied. And of course, disguise coverages and bait him into bad reads. If you do that, he's trying to force the ball into tight windows. I think we have opportunities to turn him over and get the ball back to the offense and keep rolling. Hopefully, Ladd McConkey plays in this game after having a week off, and we can get him back in the fold and have a better run of offense. But I'm going to stick to my point about running the ball with Vidal. I think you continue to give Kamani Vidal the ball. I think he's got a lot of juice. He's young. He's fresh. He hadn't run the ball a lot this season. It's been more JK and Gus. So I think that if you run the ball with him, I think you'll get more juice out of that orange than you would just running Gus solely. So keep running the ball with him, and I think we'll be all right in the run game. And then that's going to allow us to work the play action game. You able to run the ball, get some play action passes, get that defense to step up, get those passes over their heads, get it to Quentin, get it to Josh, get it to Ladd, get it to Stone. I think the passing game will benefit from a solid run game, and just keep refining the pass attack. I think the pass attack has been getting better week on and week out. Week in and week out. I think it was much better than it was in early part of the season. So I think that we get those things rolling. I think it should be a victory for us. I really do. I think I like our chance to get this team. It just don't let it be a hangover game. Come in focused, come in ready. I think Harbaugh will get them boys right and true to the idea they need to win this game is a must win. To kind of keep our staying power in the playoffs and keep the train rolling downhill, because I think the schedule gets better going down the line after this game, because I think we play the Buccaneers first, and then we got the Broncos, the Patriots, and then we got the Raiders in the season. So if we get this game, I think we should win out, and we should be that will put us at 12 wins, 12-5. So yeah, it all starts here. The playoff push starts here. So I think that if we get this game, we should rock and roll and win out and roll into the playoffs. So I like that. I like our chance against this team. There's a guy to play well and move the ball offensively and don't have these lulls in quarters where we don't move the ball, and we'll be fine. We will be fine. So, Kurt, you got anything to add or questions to ask before we move on?
No, you got a great breakdown. Like you said, you all are on the cusp. Tough loss, right? But overall, the Jim Harbaugh effect is real and is prevalent. So, no, I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I always would love to beat the Chiefs, but it's not the end of the world. I think we may get another crack at them. So we'll see where things go. But again, we got to get things handled and get into the playoffs first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll see what happens on Sunday night.